Well, welcome lab coat agents. We have one little webinar for you all today. We've got Erica, who happens to also be one of our moderators here in the group. And she had a Facebook post that went kind of viral in the group just a couple weeks ago. Was it like last week, Erica?
Yeah, I think it was last week.
Okay, and so we thought that we would kind of bring it live to talk to you all today about exactly what happened and just kind of encourage you all to keep going. Right, Erica?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So let's kind of give a little background. What was that post, and who else do we have on here with us today?
Okay, sure, absolutely. So again, just as Noelle said, my name is Lytle Stietenroth, and I'm an agent out in the West Houston area of Texas, and a moderator here in LCA. And last week I made a post that received just about 2,000 responses from you awesome group members. And it was an inspirational story about persistence and fortune in the follow-up. And so basically, it was a post about me having met some clients about 4 years ago at an open house, and we just closed on their dream home and slightly under about 1.8 million in sales just about 2 weeks ago. And so my clients are actually on this Zoom call, Tamara and David Grisco. Do you want to say hello?
Hello.
Welcome.
And we thought it would be interesting for you guys to be able to not only hear the story from the agent perspective, but also to be able to hear it from the client perspective when it comes to follow up and the relationship that was built and just the overall experience.
I think that that's so important. So the relationship building piece of it is the main thing here, right? Because they came in so early. So how did she do that with you guys?
Well, my husband and I have always gone to open houses, sometimes for the fun of it, but about 4 years ago, we were actually starting to be in the market for looking for our inspiration property, and we went to an open house that Erica was hosting, and just struck up a conversation with her, and as all realtors request, gave her our information. But she actually followed up, and because we were actually looking and not just being nosy, I gave her a long list of what we were looking for. And as her post indicated, and as she would attest, it was a long list of specifics in order to inspire our move. So that's how we met originally. And she would send me listings, and David and I, one or the other of us, would reply with, this was good, but this was not. And she kind of honed in more closely on what it was we were looking for. And in the meantime, at location wise and everything else, in the meantime, over the years, well, at the open house, she would, every time she called or emailed me, she would remind me who she was. She was the realtor with the bundt cakes.
Yep.
Because the gift at this free listing she was hosting was a little miniature bundt cake. And she followed that up almost semi-annually, I feel like, where I would get a little brown box in the mail, or David would pick it up and we would know exactly what it was, because inside was a gourmet brownie from Erica. And we were just consistently impressed. Even though we were casual lookers, there was no need to move. So even though we were casually looking, Erica just stayed on top of it and just kept in touch, and we were really impressed.
Erica, so is that something that you do for all of your clients?
Which part?
The bundt cakes? Yeah.
No. So because I was holding $1 million listing open, and it was not my listing, it was another agent's in my office. I had only had my license for probably about 5 or 6 months at that point. And so I figured I needed a way to, I wanted something that was above and beyond for $1 million open house. And so I got the idea to go to a local a local shop here called Nothing Bundt Cakes, and I bought a whole bunch of miniature bundt cakes and gave them out to everybody who came through the open house, just as a way to be different and for them to remember me.
It worked.
And it obviously worked with these guys.
So what, as potential clients, what kind of an impact did that have on you guys with maintaining the relationship?
You know, for me, I look after a small group of business development professionals. And so we're always keeping after clients and keeping in touch with clients and building relationships. And what I was really impressed by is just the way that she periodically reached out and tried to foster that relationship, tried to keep on our radar consistently. And even though we weren't necessarily eminently looking, she didn't know when we would be. And just, you know, fostering that relationship, I was really impressed by, and for such a long period of time.
Yeah, even after we told her that we were pretty much going to just stay put and remodel our own home, those brownies kept coming.
So the piece that she's talking about is just to go over the timeline a little bit more. I met them on August 1st of 2015 at an open house. I went back through I use send out cards. And so I went back through my send out cards database and realized that about 3 to 4 times a year, I would send them a card, and at least 2 of those cards would come with a pack of brownies. And then I would usually call about twice, maybe sometimes 3 times a year. So in addition to the cards 3 to 4 times a year, I would call 2 to 3 times a year sporadically. In February of 2017, I had a note in my CRM that says that they decided to stay put. They're going to remodel their home. And I sent them a list of contractors that they could reference. And so Tamara and David, tell them what you decided to do as of 2017. What were some of the things that you decided to do to your home because you were going to stay there? And then what happened when I sent you this house that you ended up buying?
We built an outdoor kitchen. We remodeled a couple of bathrooms. We remodeled the kitchen. And the last piece was a full gut job on our master bathroom as well, and with lots of luxury finishes. And actually that had just been completed about a month before you sent me that infamous listing. So, and then David, what happened when she sent us a listing?
You know, so the first house that we saw, I think Erica was really listening. She was listening to what we were really looking for. And a lot of those touches that we were interested in, she understood, and we looked at the house and we really liked it. As we were thinking about that house and sort of fielding our options as well, it turned out that we actually ended up purchasing one of our option houses that we were just seeking, just to make sure that, you know, we thought we knew what we wanted, but we wanted to make sure it was really it. So we looked at some others, and it was one of the others that Erica was so kind to be patient with us and see our other options that we ended up buying, and that ended up sealing the deal. And incidentally, the finishes that Tamara talked about in our house, it turned out that those were the things that helped us sell our house quicker when the market turned really competitive. So all those things ended up being important ingredients for the whole transaction.
So Erica, then, am I right in assuming that you also helped them list their house?
I did, yes.
Hurry.
And when we listed their house, it was the market has kind of just been going through a shift out here over the summer and here into the fall. And so, you know, the averages have gone anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And so it was a little concerning. We found the dream home, but we had to sell the other home in order to buy the dream home. So no pressure at all.
And I recall also saying it was a 1-for-1 transaction because we didn't need to move, but we wanted to move. We were perfectly happy staying put if it didn't work out. So the risk was actually all on Erica to list our home, because if it didn't work, we were going to stay put, and there would be, no fruits for her labor. And she was all in.
Yeah, well, I think, most agents will attest to the fact that when you are working with clients at a certain price point that aren't in a hurry to move, that is always the risk. And so a lot of agents give up at that stage because there is a risk there. They may spend a lot of time with clients and it may, in their minds, never pay off. And I've watched it happen time and time again, where agents will just kind of let go of the contact. If it's not going to happen in the next 6 months, they move on. And this is really a good example of why people should stay on that client relationship management, because look at this. You guys ended up buying and selling a couple of years later. And how worth it was it for you, Erica?
So yeah, we closed in September. We closed this month, 2019. So almost exactly 4 years to the date that I had first met Tamara, or just over 4 years, 4 years and a month, or 15 days or something, since I had first met them, and a little over 2 years from when they had told me that they were going to stay put. And the total amount of transactions was $1.8 million sales. So most of the agents in the group can calculate out the commission. This has been the highest producing month for me in all of my in all of my career so far in real estate. It was an amazing feeling. I have done coaching in the past, and my coaches said, once you have your first $50,000 month, or, then you're going to want your $100,000 month. And the interesting thing for me about it was, and I was just talking to somebody about this earlier this week, is I said, now that it's happened, I know that it can be my reality. I just thought it was something that was a reality maybe for other agents. And with high risk, there's high reward. And now I look at it and I'm like, all right, well, I've been able to help some clients. This was my first over $1 million sale that I've done. And so now I said, all right, well, I know within the next year, my goal is I will list my first $1 million home, so it's helped me, not yours. I hope not anyway. But it's helped me actually realize that it's not a pipe dream, and that it's something that, a lot of diligence, a lot of persistence, and just stick-to-itiveness over the years, you can achieve these goals. And Tamara and David were fantastic clients. And I think that we formed a friendship in the process. And I think that's something that was really cool to kind of see as well.
Yeah. Well, Tamara and David, how likely are you to refer Erica out now after that experience?
Anytime, and twice on Sunday.
And I think for people that are watching this, agents that are watching this, and they're saying to themselves, I'm never going to sell $1 million house, or I'm never going to have a client that does that, then get out of that mindset. All it takes is the first sale. In fact, I'll share something. I'm sitting in a $1.6 million house right now as the listing agent for it. I'm sitting in this house, and I got this house through my very first over $1 million sale, and then networking with those people. And that is how you build relationships with that type of a seller or buyer. You have to gain that trust first, because many of them are business minded and they are looking at what kind of a service are they going to get from you. And Erica clearly showed them that she was going to have a great service for them. So way to go, Erica. Thanks for coming on today, guys. Erica, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I'm trying to think back to the story and everything. It's so different being live here on Facebook and doing this.
You're doing great.
But ultimately it's the story behind it for other agents who have been in those relationships. When you go and you host open houses and you're trying to follow up and people are telling you no, or they're not responding to you. The biggest thing for me is that I always follow up with people until they either tell me to take a hike or we close on a deal. One of the two things are going to happen, you know? Yep. And so I think that it's very easy to give up and to have a mindset of, you know, in that direction. And I think this is a prime example and a good inspirational story, as we saw from the responses when it was posted on Facebook.
Absolutely.
David or Tamara, do you have anything else that you would like to say before we wrap it up?
I do. So one thing that was remarkable to me about the process that I would impart is just what's so memorable about the experience is how Erica was our advocate in the process. And so everything about the transaction that needed to get done or needed to get done on our behalf, Erica handled, but she did it in partnership with us. So we would do it together. We would develop the direction together, but then she would go out and be our advocate, whether it was negotiating the deal, of course, but also handling small details near and even after close. She is our advocate, and for that, that is one of the many reasons why she will, you know, have many referrals from us going forward.
And the only thing I would add to that as well is that I need her back again, because she did handle all of those details and now have two details that I'm supposed to handle. But also, just to pull the story full circle, the house we built is just down the street from the house where we met 4 years ago. So it's pretty great.
That's awesome.
I will add one more thing to that. David, tell him about the picture that you sent me of the outdoor kitchen in your backyard.
Oh my gosh. So during the period of time when we were thinking about building out our house and staying put, we were looking at ideas for building out the backyard kitchen. And so I was riding my bike around a neighborhood, taking pictures for ideas. And my favorite one that I took 4 years ago and sent to Tamara and kept, I looked at recently, and it's the house we live in today.
That's serendipitous.
What are the chances? There's a lot of alignment here.
Yep. Well, way to go, Erica. Again, everybody, let this encourage you to stay diligent in your follow-up and never doubt yourself. Like if there is a relationship there, foster that relationship, because you never know when the deal is actually going to come through. So great job, Erica.
Brownies are good.
And brownies are good. And you know, that's the thing, is find ways to connect with your potential future clients and make that your thing. A lot of the people on here know that I personally eat a lot of junk food. I eat
and you love Diet Coke.
And I drink a lot of Diet Coke. In fact, this fridge behind me is stocked with Diet Coke. If I open it up, it's all you'll see. And I've kind of found ways with my clients to give hints of that stuff, because it's a way to connect for us, and then they feel like they know me better, and then I get to know them and find out what they like. And you know, if brownies are their thing, then give them brownies.
They didn't know brownies were their thing until I sent them brownies. And you know what they say? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So the way to your client's heart is through.
Totally. Well, and nothing bundt cakes. I mean, those are the best. They really are. Well, thanks for coming on, you guys, and thanks for sharing your story with us, Erica. It's encouraging, I think, for everybody to hear stories like that. No matter what level you're at, it's important to remember the heart of what we do as agents is relationship development. That really is what we do. Mm-hmm. So,
fortune's in the follow-up.
The fortune is in the follow-up. Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day. And Erica, thanks again.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, Tamara and David.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.